Hello everyone, my name is Miss Gillespie. I am the DeSoto East Librarian Aide for this year. I am going to start our first read aloud chapter book, which is called The 8th Grade Super Zero, which is written by Mr. O. Perkofich. Okay, let's get started. October the 5th, 8:08 a.m. Hey Pukey, got a pen? Hector Vega jabs me in the back. He does this every day, mostly so he can write the villain Vega, his future pro wrestling name, all over his notebooks. I hand a blue ballpoint over my shoulder without looking. Then Hector taps me so I can turn around and see him stick the pen down his throat and fake gag. Almost a month of this, every single day, and he still cracks himself up. Ignore him, whispers my best friend Ruthie. You will need so much therapy when you're 40, she tells Hector, her braids swinging. She turns back to me and mutters, Reggie, you really should. She stops when Miss Anderson shoots a look our way. Miss A's cool, but she's no joke. She's also Dean of Students, which is basically Dean of Detention. I hope she didn't see me sleeping a minute ago. Ruthie usually pokes me if I'm about to get busted, so I figure I'm okay. Hector is still snickering, and if Sean Glanville weren't up front doing his current event report right now, he'd be back here laughing it up too, like Hector was some kind of joke conquistador. Clark Jr. is a smart kids school that's supposed to have high standards. I don't know how Hector and Sean got in. I just hope they end up at Future Leaders Alternative School next year with my big sister moniker and other jerks with suppressed promise, as her principal says in his letters home. Sean sits down and Ruthie volunteers to deliver her report next. She marches up front with her usual mountains of papers. Ruthie, says Miss A, we don't have a lot of time, and I like to give others a chance. That looks extensive. Because of America's media's obvious bias, I have used 17 different global news sources, including Madagascar Weekly. And to put my report together, Ruthie tries to stare Miss A down. You have 3 minutes, says Miss A. Ruthie loses the stare down. My other best friend Josie laughs. Miss A growls at him. Mr. Castiglione, feel free to close your mouth now. Definitely not a good day when she calls him Mr. Castiglione instead of Josie. Ruthie's titled her environmental racism report, Closer to Death with Every Breath, and it has a whole apocalyptic "you're going to die today" factor that wakes us up for a few minutes, but it's not enough to run out the clock. I keep my head down. The last thing I want her to hear is Miss A thrilling, Reginald, what news do you have for us today? Then I'd have to walk up to the front and somebody would try to trip me or something. Donovan Green tosses Justin Walker a note, and Justin smiles as he reads it. Donovan makes me sick the way he sucks up to Justin. He acts like he didn't used to come over to my house every day after school. Ruth, thank you very much for that extensive report. Let's get some more in. Sorry for the brief interruption, says Mr. Blaylock from the doorway. Time for a little Clark Community booster shot. He tries to strut into the room, but gets tripped from behind by Assistant Principal Gordon, who's walking his hunched-over prehistoric walk as usual. I have a very special announcement. Blaylock says. The mayor has just announced a new program called the Young People Participate Project, which will award grants to the New York City schools that exemplify the spirit of community partnership and student leadership. Clark, with its proud tradition of student involvement, will be a shining candidate for this honor. Except, as you know, we were left rather unpleasantly without a school president this year. Thus, after much deliberation and examination of the budget, I am most pleased to announce that a new presidential campaign season has officially begun, and we're going to do it right this time. He glares at us. We will have a real candidates, real campaigning, and real rallies, and the winner will be announced at the Holiday Jam. This is a big opportunity for a member of the 8th grade to step up and be a Clark School power broker. Leader of tomorrow. I know you're out there. Yeah, I guess since our elected leader of tomorrow decided that the school presidency was too yesterday. Last June, Brian Allerton resigned the day after election and called it subversive. Blaylock held an emergency assembly to yell at us for 45 minutes about responsibility and respect, but no one cared. Blaylock sounds like he is on a mission this time. I guess this money thing makes a whole new ballgame. Perhaps, says Miss A, standing, this is an appropriate time for a meaningful discussion about leadership. What is important at Clark? Why celebrate the Clark Pledge of proactive community service every year? What a Clark leader should be. Blaylock looks confused, like Miss A is something that's not supposed to happen. I guess standing around and doing nothing all the time is pretty taxing because Gordon uses his assistant principal status to slip into Miss A's seat. He pretends not to notice her glare. Vicki Ross coughs loudly and sits up, so straight that she's about 6 inches taller. Blaylock clears his throat. I'm glad to hear you agree with me, Miss Anderson. Civic responsibility and democratic principles are embedded in the Clark collective consciousness. He switches to suspension voice. Some of you may not realize this, but somehow the election process has a tendency to generate into a popularity contest. This is not who's cool or who's a nerd. Who he blowhards on, and a few kids start checking their text messages. Elections have always been a joke here. We only elect president, no other officers. And the only thing that the president does is plan class competition night. And we have 3-legged races and a cheesecake eating contest. That's it for the whole year. The campaign is all about big lies. I will change everything. Big speeches at the big assemblies. I will change everything. Repeat after me. Woo-woo. And a vote that crowns someone's most popular of the year. Clark's motto is for the students, by the students, and of the students, with a little help from their friends. I think we need more help or more friends. Miss A tries again. Perhaps we should address that. Popularity does seem to be the primary qualification when it comes to Clark presidency. Can that change? Do we want it to change? Are we ready to see this election as a challenge to upset the status quo? Yeah, said Ruthie. Are we finally ready for a revolution? Yeah, right. Now that's Brian gone. Justin is destined to be president. He's the guy every girl wants and every guy wants to be. Even me. Back in 3rd grade, I was the hall monitor for 2 weeks, and then I thought I was destined for politics, greatness. But 6th grade and reality struck hard, and I realized that I was lucky to just have the right to vote. Guys like me, who are this close to last pick for teams, do not become president except on TV or in some dumb movie. Guys like me focus on how to get through the rest of the year under the radar and on the sidelines. We save the fantasy life for our fantasies. I should write down the dream I was having before Hector woke me up. The best part was when Donovan punked out and Clark was a place where people cared. Blaylock stopped blabbing for a second and Vicky Ross jumps in. I have a few words that I like to say on the subject of election. Blaylock closes his eyes for a minute and gives Vicky a quick nod. As Principal Blaylock said, starts Vicky, we need to have a meaningful discussion about leadership. She pauses and holds her head up so high, see up her nose. Principal Blaylock didn't say that, says Ruthie. Miss A did. Our school newspaper is supposed to be the voice of the people, Vicky continues. We're the people, yet the issues that concern us are ignored. I feel that the paper should include regular profile, high-achieving students, the ones who show leadership and inspire the rest of you, us. She finishes just like she just made an Emancipation Proclamation. I feel that there shouldn't be a newspaper at all, mutters Hector. Maybe if we paid less attention to current events, we could focus on real life. Ruthie doesn't even raise her hand. Are you for real, Vicky? You're focusing on how to position yourself for the Ivy League when sub-Saharan Africa is about to implode. A few people groan. Please don't let her take that map out again, whispers Veronica Cruz. Vicky plows ahead. I'm talking about real leadership, she says. We saw what happened last year. It was a complete popularity contest and a waste of time. And a few people are nodding. We need to cultivate an elite team of leaders at Clark. That doesn't sound very community-oriented, says Million Davis. That voice is singing to me. Clark is supposed to be one big happy family, helping hands and all that stuff. The pledge says. A few people snort and Sean Glanville laughs out loud. This is so stupid. No one's answering Miss A's question, and most people don't even want to. I feel Miss A's eyes on me, like she knows what I'm thinking, and wants me to say something. But she's crazy if she thinks I'm about to put myself out there. This place is hopeless. Well, thank you for allowing me to read our first chapter of 8th grade Super Zero. We will continue on next week with our next part of the 8th grade Super Zero book. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.